There is a sentence that has quietly ended more souls than any disaster you can name. Not a curse, not a great sin, just 5 words. I'll get right with God soon. That was Daniel's sentence. He said it for 11 years. And on a Wednesday afternoon, completely ordinary, no warning, no sign, God stopped waiting. His name is Daniel, 41 years old, project manager, 2 kids. Good man by every measure anyone around him could see. He wasn't running from God. He wasn't living recklessly. He went to church at Christmas, said grace before meals when he remembered, believed in heaven, believed Jesus was real. He just hadn't made it personal yet. There was always a reason. When the kids were smaller, life was too chaotic. When work calmed down, he'd focus. When the new year came, he'd start fresh. He had a Bible app on his phone downloaded 3 years ago, opened maybe 4 times. He was not a bad man. He was a busy man. And in his mind, those 2 things were enough to keep the door open. The first time God reached for him was at his colleague Marcus's funeral. Marcus was 44, heart attack, no warning. Daniel sat in that church, a church he hadn't been inside since the previous Christmas, and felt something move in him, something heavy and urgent and real. The pastor said, "We are not promised tomorrow," and Daniel felt it land. He drove home quiet, put the kids to bed, sat on the edge of his bed and thought, I need to sort this out, properly, soon. Then his phone buzzed, work email, deadline moved up. He answered it, went to sleep. The feeling faded by morning. 6 months later, a health scare, chest pains, 2 nights in hospital. Tests came back clear. The doctor said, "You're fine. Watch your stress levels." Daniel lay in that hospital bed the second night and opened the Bible app. Genesis 1. He read 3 verses, felt peaceful, thought, I should do this more. When things settle down, I will. He was discharged the next morning. Life resumed. The app went unopened for another 4 months. One evening, his daughter, 7 years old, climbed into his lap and asked, "Daddy, do you talk to God?" He smiled. "Sometimes, sweetheart." She said, "I talk to him every night. He listens." Something passed across Daniel's chest in that moment. Not guilt exactly. Something quieter than guilt. A recognition. He tucked her in, stood in the hallway for a moment, thought, she's right. I need to get serious about this. This year. I'll make it a priority this year. He went downstairs, finished his emails, watched television, went to bed. Now pause. Stay right here. While Daniel is living that completely normal life, while the door is still open, while the warnings are still coming, listen to what Jesus said. Luke 12. A man's land produced abundantly. He had more than he needed, more than he could store. So he made plans, big plans. He said to himself, "You have plenty of good things laid up for many years. Eat, drink, be merry." And God said to him, "You fool, this night your soul is required of you. Not this year, not eventually, this night." The man wasn't evil. He was just planning, just assuming he had time he had not been given. Jesus told that story and then said 5 words that should stop every single one of us cold. So is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. Not someday, not eventually. Tonight could be the night. Back to Daniel. 3 weeks after his daughter asked him that question, he was having a good month, really good. The project at work was going well. The kids were healthy. He and his wife had a rare, quiet Saturday together. He even prayed briefly that morning, just a few sentences, standing in the kitchen with his coffee. Thanked God for the family, for the job. Felt genuinely at peace. He thought, I think I'm in a good place, actually. I think God knows my heart. That evening, he sat down at his laptop, 3 tabs open. A work email he was halfway through. A holiday he was booking for the summer the kids had been asking about the beach. And a sermon he'd saved 6 weeks ago, still unplayed, titled, Don't Wait. He finished the work email, confirmed the holiday booking. He never opened the 3rd tab. Stop the video. Look at your screen. You are watching this right now, and somewhere in this story, you recognized yourself. Maybe it was the funeral that moved you and then didn't change you. Maybe it was the hospital bed. Maybe it was a child's question you didn't fully answer. Maybe it's just the quiet sense you've carried for years that you haven't made this personal yet. Daniel wasn't unusual. Daniel is the most common story there is. And the most terrifying thing about his story is not how it ended. It's how normal everything looked right before it ended. Say the word you've been using, out loud if you have to. Soon, later, when things calm down, when I'm ready. That word is not a promise you can keep. You were never given the authority to make that promise. Only God holds that timeline, and He has already shown, in Scripture and in 1,000 real lives, that He does not always wait for you to be ready. The door is open right now, not as a feeling, not when you get organized. Right now, in this moment, the door is open. Daniel's wife found the unplayed sermon on his laptop 3 days after the funeral. She played it. She sat at his desk and listened to the whole thing. And at the end, she closed the laptop and wept, not just from grief, but from something sharper than grief. Because she had heard him say it too. Soon, when things calm down. This year. She said afterward, he loved God. I know he did. But he never crossed the line from believing to surrendering. And I don't know, only God knows what that meant. But I know I'm not waiting anymore. Ask yourself one question. Not what do you believe, not how often do you attend church, not whether you're a good person. Ask yourself, have you crossed that line from believing to surrendering, from knowing about God to actually giving Him your life? Because that crossing, that specific moment, is the whole thing. It is the entire thing. Comment below right now, I'm crossing the line today. Or tell me what in this story hit you hardest. Share this with someone who is still using that word, soon. They need to hear this today. Daniel had 11 years of warnings, a funeral, a hospital bed, a daughter's question, a sermon saved and never played. God was not silent. God was patient. But patient is not the same as waiting forever. The door is open right now. Don't close the app.